Perfect. There you go.
Here we go.
All
Excellent.
right.
Woo!
Live TV. We got it. Okay. Thank you, Steve, for helping out.
Thank you,
My
guys.
pleasure.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everyone, for your patience.
Lydia, great to be able to talk to you today, and want to thank you for being here before the holiday. A lot of people already, in that spirit and mode, and I'm very interested in some of the crosses that you're paying attention to. But yeah, let's start with. Oh yeah, remember our last interview? Well,
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you're seeing.
Yes. So when the euro pound broke above 88.50, I was like, oh, Dale's right. It's going above 0.9, and it's been hesitating. We have a lot of divergence with the momentum and price action, but we just cannot seem to get a correction. So this is basically what we've been enduring for 2 months now, right? Since May. And we had these I think this was 12 straight candles higher, and then we just kind of consolidating over time. So we don't really get to see that a lot in Forex. We usually get a nice healthy correction or retracement in price. And we just haven't gotten that in the euro pound at all. After the break above 88.50, and the lack of retracement, actually, I've been convinced that we are heading higher. This is probably the only currency that the euro can rally against right now, is probably the pound.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Actually, I think that we're approaching, I've been, one more shot up is what I'm looking for. Is why it's tough, Lydia? You have a megaphone formation, which is like a broadening top formation. People get bullish at the highs and then bearish at the lows, and it rewards no one except those that are willing to trade at the extreme. So I actually think that it's a bull market. My long-term targets are still 94, but God, I think that was such an important level down there at 87.40, 86.80 that I think it might be a magnet to pull it back down there.
If we look here, yeah. We've been going straight up for weeks now. And yeah, I agree that 86 level, when we couldn't stay below, we spoke about that, we couldn't stay below 88, 86.50. Kind of took another, so we came right around here, we spoke, it came and took a stab, it went back to 85. I thought we would get a continuation move lower into 83. 83 is what I've been looking for, and at least 83.50. And we just kind of we shot right back higher. And then we got that break above 88.50, and we haven't had a consolidation since. So I mean, I've had this on my daily chart for a while, waiting for it to fall. We could get a fall. I always want to contend that the pound always corrects, but we just have been getting more of this consolidation over time. So now this divergence, not really. Can't really mark it on the daily chart though, because we have these other highs here. But on the 4-hour chart, we've been diverging for a while, and we just keep getting these shallow corrections. Buyers
since the 17th or 18th, it looks like, of last month.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're about 2 weeks into the last confirmed high. Your last statement about that. The only currency that the euro could rally against is the pound. To me, it is a statement of how bearish you may be in the pound.
Yeah, the pound is actually, the euro pound is probably the laggard as we look. As I look at the other crosses and the other pound pairs, which they've been breaking down, particularly this week. Last week, we finally got some breakouts from some support levels against the Aussie, against the Kiwi, against the CAD, even against the dollar. Here we are sitting below $1.26, probably going to rival, trying to take another stab at $1.25 and below. The pound yen is, below $1.36.
Can you change your charts with that, Lydia?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So we have the Aussie. Aussie was here at 82. That was my support level. I mean, we've since broken out below that. Even though I have this extension, guys, I'm really looking at whether or not we can break this this bigger fib here, and what that meant for when price was starting to look move lower. So we were still in a correction and just trying to see if this was going to be more of a trend move, even though we were working within this bigger correction here. If we look at the, not that, but if we look at the Kiwi's already done that. It had a failed high anyway, and so it's moving, working within these bigger moves. So some of these are bigger weekly chart moves, because even as I zoom in on the weekly chart, this huge rally over the course of the last 2 years is still just a correction. I still feel like we're starting to see with the pound a continuation of the downtrend that we saw that got kicked off around referenda, maybe a little bit earlier in some of these other pairs. And then the CAD is just like, it's like,
wow.
Just, yeah, the pound CAD is falling off a cliff. Again, looking at the weekly chart, we zoom in, it's just it's a continuation of this larger theme. So these are things that we're just kind of seeing across the board with the crosses. Even if we look at the yen got below that really important $36.50 level for me. It was kind of like the last bastion of support. We'd had all these support levels where we had been trying to go lower, but we would get kicked up and test 148. You know, we've been looking at 148 for a couple years now. And now we're just we're finally breaking below that. We'll probably test this spike low, and you know, we'll see if this this pattern can continue. Again, these are all these bigger themes of this really pound weakness, kind of coming right back and
being confirmed by everything.
Yeah.
All currencies.
Everything. So
it's a narrative, right?
So when we look at the euro pound, on the weekly, like it's kind of a laggard, you know, like we don't have the same breakouts. We're not seeing the new high with the new lows in pound would be new highs in the euro pound. We're not seeing that yet. And I really think like this is kind of the one I'm watching because it is behind. It's behind and lagging behind the other pairs. Like this is there's still opportunity here as we're below 90. I think once we get below 90, we get a spike into 90, 50, 91. We might see a pullback. But I agree with you, Dale. I think that this correction that's taken probably 2.5, 3 years finally sees us get to new highs, and sees us get to new highs technically. If we look at the fundamentals, we'll see how the market reacts to the changeover with the ECB governor or ECB president there, and see how the market reacts to that changeover, right? That change in leadership that's going to happen across all the EU top positions. So that might be the only thing. I think that's what's dragging on the euro now, but not in this case, not against it, not against the pound.
Okay, I see, Twitter sends out a thing, like an email every day of people you follow and what they're saying. And I notice that you're following a lot of other instruments besides FX right now because of your RIA and what you're doing. So anything outside the FX arena that's really garnering your attention as we just begin the summer trading season?
I think it's been really interesting to see the rally in bond prices and the rally in equities.
Together.
Together. So, bonds are basically saying we're going to have a cycle, an easy cycle, and stocks are basically saying that as well. And I think something has to give, whether it's going to be the economy. And I don't know if it's going to be the U.S. economy per se, if it's just going to be a global economic slowdown, if it's going to be a change in trade flows due to trading tensions. I call them tensions now. You can call them trade wars, whatever label we want to put on it, and seeing how that is going to play out. I said I was on earlier, and I said that we really got to wait till after the summer flows kind of finish out, and when traders, everyone is fully back into the swing of things.
After Labor Day, so we have to chop around for a few months.
Exactly.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah. The pound and the dollar are known to chop around right now. I mean, even the dollar's range bound, even as it's gaining against the euro and the pound, it's still rather range bound if we just look at the Dixie index.
Do you have a view on the Fed's meeting in July? The whole market, a lot are talking half a point cut.
Yeah, right. 50 basis points. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that it's very possible that they don't move. It's been disappointing to see Powell kind of succumb to market forces, and I don't see why he would cut, or I don't see why they would cut rates unless the jobs report really stuns again to the downside.
Yeah, so they need cover on Friday to
exactly.
do this.
Because I mean, we have equities at all-time highs. The S&P is at all-time highs.
I'll use the bullets here.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking? Why, if the S&Ps were 2,200, it'd be a layup. They're going to go.
Oh, it'd be a no-brainer. We would have had a cut in June.
Right.
You know, so we would have had back-to-back cuts, right? So I mean,
you're on my side. I tell you what, if we're right, Lydia, I made a $1 bet with Steve Volke, you know, like a Duke Brothers bet, and I'll split it with you.
Cool. I was going to say, I'll make sure you collect.
All right, you watch out, Steve Volke. I have Lydia on this now. So how's the battle been going for you, Lydia? And, you know, maybe you want to show people where they could find you. You know, your demeanor is great. I can just imagine what an excellent mentor and teacher you are just by, you know, your demeanor and your communication skills. Do you love teaching?
I do. You know, in another life, I taught web design and computer programming, and then finally made the leap into just at least reading markets. I like to say chart art, and just kind of teaching people how to read price action. Not necessarily, and then, well, the start of it is learning how to trade. To me, you got to start with just reading price action and taking them through that. So that's something that I have been doing over the course of the last couple of years. I think I'm in my second year teaching how to just read charts. And you can find that information at Learn with Lydia. And then some of my students like to take a step forward and start to learn more how to trade and trade management and things like that.
Yeah, and you have a whole series of courses.
Yes.
You can show that.
Okay. Yeah, so we start off with the beginner course, and that's really just chart art. So this is the course now with, I teamed up with the Profit Room, and I do a foundational charting course with them. And then if you want to move forward, I took it down. I'm kind of revamping my offerings. I call it the intermediate and more advanced classes are now geared towards trading, management, and mentorship. So if you're looking for that, if you're a more advanced trader, you're just looking for kind of an accountability partner, you can contact me, you know, via Twitter or email about that. But right now, a lot of my students that have been coming to me have been really, really beginners, just people who are looking to add to their skill sets, look to trade, or at least who are looking to add trading to their skill set and grow some wealth that way. So that's.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel when one of your mentees begins to outperform you in the markets?
I'm super proud.
Yeah, there you go. You're happy. Let me tell you, does it feel as good to you as it does when you have a winning trade or better?
Yeah, because I know where they came from. You know that they knew nothing or they knew very little. And to see
nothing.
Yeah. And some of my students, like, they really, know nothing. So it's amazing to watch their progression during the course. And then when they start to outperform me, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I'm super proud because I know I was a key, element to where they are now. And yeah, when the student surpasses the teacher, I think that's a thing to celebrate.
Okay, and for people that want to be in your RIA, that's passive. You manage it and make the market allocation decisions, or do you consult with people?
Yeah, both. So
okay,
it's not as passive as some other companies. I think I want all my investors to be educated. So we'll discuss through the allocation. I'll execute them. And we'll see what I see in the market, what I think is a good investment. just depending on goals. Some people are looking for income. Most people are looking for appreciation. So we try to put a portfolio of assets together that will accomplish that. Not just Forex and stocks, but we also look at some other things as well. Obviously, mutual funds. Some folks are looking at venture capital. So we really look at the wide variety of asset classes and build a portfolio there. So yeah, you can get more information on the firm here, and you can book a call with me on this link here. I'll take you to my calendar.
Boy, your website has really evolved in the last.
It hasn't it? Thanks, Dale.
Yeah, very nice. And Lydia, when we were talking earlier about both bonds and S&Ps going up together, what's your gut about which one's wrong, or perhaps even they're both wrong?
Oh, that's something I had to consider, that they both could be wrong. I guess I'm a little old school, or maybe it's just I came up with old school mentors. I think the bond market is right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate that we won't have market crashes like we should. I think it's healthy to have markets fall. So it's unfortunate that we're in a time where central banks won't allow it. I think that's where my mind is that central banks will no longer allow equity markets to fall in the same manner as they used to. And so then what does that mean for healthy market action, and can you really trust what you're seeing in equities? I don't think equities are no longer a good measure or barometer of economic condition. I think we have to look to some other markets and look at
like copper or oil.
Yeah, you got to look at commodities. You got to look at bonds. I mean, you even can look at Forex. Look at what yen and the dollar are doing. Some more less manipulated markets. I mean, when you have central banks now, they buying ETFs and stocks.
I know.
Using money.
I hate that. They go into the stock, with government coming in to intervene directly into stock markets.
Yeah, into stock markets. It's it's a new day, so it's hard to trust what equities are telling us. And for me, it's just you follow price, right? We're here at the end of the day to follow price, so you can do that. But as far as what it means for the economy, I don't think the stock market can tell us much about that anymore.
Okay, do you have a level in the pound if the dollar is topping out, where you would start to think about long-term accumulation in the pound?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I know you look at weeklies and you look at telescopes. So what do you think? Are we going to go back to the 06 low before we get a big bottom, or is it happening not in here?
I actually think that we're bottoming here. And so that's why I say we really need to see what happens after Labor Day, when all market participants are back in the seat, or back in the saddle, as it were. So right now we're contending with $1.25. These two spike lows are these spikes below 125. So $1.25 for me. See, we get this consolidation, and which is just kind of this range bound, 127.50, not even really 127.75. It looks like on the weekly chart, and then we're getting this 125.80, right here, 125.80-ish. So right now we're range bound. If you look at I was looking at the DXY before I came on, that looks range bound to me. Even the euro is range bound between 113, 111. So we're really starting to get these, some regular good old summer flows where we start to consolidate some of these bigger moves, which is why I'm so, I'm actually a little surprised by the breakout we're seeing in pound weakness against the other crosses. It might have more to do with the commodity flows in those, and I think with the yen, some risk aversion with the global economic situation. But yeah, I think as far as starting to take a poke at longs, you could try to start to go long here, just because we're at the bottom of this range. But I think if we stay above these December lows, when we had that big market crash, I think if we, or correction rather, as it were.
Above 24.
Yeah,
40.
if we stay above 124, if we're not able to move lower than that, you'll also see the euro dollar will probably base around 111. If we don't get below those levels, I think we can start to see finally dollar weakness coming in, which just means that the market is finally believing the Fed. So, could it happen on a 50 basis point cut? Possibly. I think even though there's a lot of market chatter, I think people would be really surprised if the Fed pulled the trigger with 50 basis points.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
would be too.
back-to-back 25, back-to-back is more realistic.
So you could actually take a position trade here, getting long around here, and either risking the weekly closed from 2 weeks ago, or if you really want to do an unleveraged trade, risk the low from the end of last year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
hope you get a higher low and it doesn't take that out.
Yeah, and you want to position that. You might want to position before Friday or even after the release. See if we get a weak number again. We'll see the pound dollar shoot up. We'll likely get a bit of a pullback on a retest of support or a retest of broken resistance, and then you have more confirmation to take it higher.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for hanging with us today, Lydia.
Thanks for having me, Dale. Thank you so much.
My trading warrior sister, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
And I hope that the rest of the summer trading season for you are, even though everyone's in the Hamptons, that there are fireworks for you and your clients and mentees to take advantage of whatever the market offers us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Lydia. Very nice talking to you. Keep in touch, and you know how to follow Lydia, everyone listening. You can follow her also on Twitter at FaithMight, and she'll have all the links to her courses and her RIA. And one thing, no one's right all the time, but people are either ethical or unethical, and Lydia's ethical all the time. And that's a rare quality in today's barracuda, shark-infested environment.
Thank you so much, Dale. Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome, Lydia. Have a great holiday. F.A.C.E, that's a wrap. Everyone have a great holiday. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and eat 100 hot dogs. And then I'll see, the team will be here for the NFP, and we'll rock. And that's about it. I'm going to end the meeting now. Thanks again, Lydia. Adios, everyone.